Hello there, welcome to this stats video. I'm a bit broken today. I did a bit of gymming and a bit of rugby track practice yesterday, so I'm a bit knackered today. Anyway, you don't care about that, you care about this, which is the stats. So I were going to do them on Monday, but I decided not to because work got in the way and whatever, and I'm wanting to do some other stuff as well. So anyway, apologies for the lateness. This incorporates not only the last weekend but also the weekend before. So the what would that be? The 17th and the 24th, those two weekends. Because on the 17th, if that's the right date, there were only two events, so I didn't bother to do a show all about two events. Although maybe I should do in future, because then I could do a bit more of a deep dive and sort of explain how like the tournaments actually work. But anyway, this is the War Score. This is the newish website. I obviously need to do a lot of graphic design. All I've been trying to do is get all the functionality to work. I'm still quite a way off, really. Like, the event stuff doesn't work properly yet. But anyway, that's all beside the point. And with the event listings, what I want to do is like have it as like an event bright, but specifically just for Warhammer. So it's designed for that rather than designed for loads of other events. It's designed for TOs to put their event pack and like pick a set of rules that they want to apply to their event, and pick a set of scoring systems and so on and so forth that they want to apply to their event, and also for them to collect money through. So but again, that's going to take a while to put together. Anyway, this is the War Score at the moment, which is what I'm now calling the player score, individual War Score. There's been a bit of a shift at the top, despite the fact that Luna is probably the best Warhammer player in the world at the moment, probably. But Phil's got the stats because he's been to. I think Phil even said in as a comment in my last video, I'm not as good as Luna. So, but anyway, he's got a bit more experience. So, statistically speaking, Phil is superior for now, at least. Luna did say that she went to and won an event a few weeks ago, but sadly the TO isn't allowing people to view the final standings, so I can't use the data. Sorry, I just, if I can't see it, I can't use it. So yeah, so that's that. Anyway, one thing I did want to show you is that essentially, well, bit it's me, but essentially 68. So I was at position 400 and something or other. I went to a tournament last weekend, won all three games, and that puts me in the top 100 now. So turning up to events and doing well really helps. Although just being really good and just winning all your events, like Matt Goldsborough there, James Ramsey, he's done exactly the same. So doing really well a while ago is superior to doing reasonably well recently, if that makes sense. So this is all based on where you finish in the tournament as well. It's not based on win percentage, although I'm thinking about adding something in that reflects a win percentage kind of statistic. But anyway, that's the individual results at the moment. Then I thought we'd go through the overall stats, and then we'll take a look at some actual event results. So this is the popularity chart. It's pretty much unchanged. This is essentially the number next to the faction name is the number of appearances that this faction have had at tournaments, and this is since February, so this is over all time. I probably should do like a popularity over time sort of chart as I have with win percentage, but we'll do that later. Pardon me, just got a hot chocolate. I've not had hot chocolate for ages, but I just fancied it this morning for some reason. This is the win percentage. Essentially, it's a box and whiskers plot. The box is essentially the average, and it's not. How have I sorted that? Oh, yeah, right. So I've started sorting the factions by some kind of metric related to player score, because I want to use like the war rank as like a kind of a way of statistically determining how well factions are doing, which is a bit more, but also it sort of allows time to sort of degrade results. So essentially more recent results are given more of a weighting, but it doesn't like eliminate entirely older results. So anyway, we've got this win percentage here. As you can see, pretty much everybody at any tournament. So essentially, the whiskers. I'll just explain so the box is the average. The whiskers are like the normal range of results. Normal being a statistical measure, one standard deviation, one sigma, one side or another, based on the results of the actual faction. So each of these volatilities, each of these sigma, each of these whiskers are individual to the faction. So it's not like an average of all of them, it's individual to them. So as you can see, pretty much everybody 1 to 2 wins at a 3-game tournament is normal. If you get above 2 wins for anybody at a 3-gamer, you're over average, and if you're losing all your games, you're under normal. Apart from if you're Skaven, it's normal for Skaven to lose everything. Pardon me. So yeah, you can see that there's some factions that are very good at the moment, that are pretty dominant. I'd say Warriors of Chaos, probably actually Beastmen upwards. Essentially, you know, because at a 5-game tournament, what this is saying is at a 5-game tournament, they're winning. You know, that it's not normal for them to only win one. Whereas I think for every other faction, maybe not Chaos Dwarves as well. Actually, Wood Elves have just crept above that 20% at the bottom as well, there, haven't they? So that's interesting. There's quite a few factions that you probably put as like top tier. Vampire counts have a lot of variability, but vampire counts have a lot of flexibility in terms of list writing. So you can go for like a Wailing Dirge heavy list, which are the more competitive lists, to be honest. Or you can sort of back away from that. But those aren't as competitive, so don't tend to do as well. Yeah, so that's your win percentage. This is in total. I'll probably look to do some kind of player score style mechanic with that, but that'll stats take time to get right, really. This is the win percentage over time. This is essentially the simple results from the month, so it's not cumulative. So it's not like April's results incorporate March's results. This is the win percentage in March. This is the win percentage in April. So it just shows how stuff moves around, but how some factions are a bit more reliable. For instance, like Tomb Kings here, they're sort of, you know, they're always there or thereabouts, pretty much above a 50% consistently. Bretonia have had, you know, some very good months, and then they've had some quite, you know, average months. Now 45% is probably the win rate that you'd describe as being like average or normal. So above that is good, and below that is bad. And the reason for that is draws. You know, that there are draws in Warhammer the Old World, so it just makes sense that the 50% win rate isn't going to be the average. It's going to be below that. So probably around 45, 46%, something like that. So as you can see, in August we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factions going. Although I haven't done the tests, that looks to me like it would be significantly above normal if we took that as a population. And those factions are Beastmen, Demons, Vampire Counts, Chaos Dwarves, Warriors of Chaos, and Wood Elf Realms have been the ones above and beyond. Sorry, Tomb Kings. Did I say Tomb Kings? I meant Tomb Kings. Chaos Dwarves are down there. Chaos Dwarves are in this kind of normal pack in August, as are Bretonia. Dark Elves had a very good July, but they're crashing back down to normal. There are a few sort of subnormal factions. So we've got Empire, Dwarves. Dwarves have had their Arcane Journal released, obviously, between July and August, and their win percentage has gone down significantly. So they were doing okay to begin with. They sort of it got really bad for them in June. July, they started to creep back, but then the Arcane Journals come out, and then they've gone bad again. So that's worth keeping an eye on, I think. Skaven are gradually creeping up over time, just about getting over the 30% win rate at the moment over time, but you know, they're still a long way behind everybody else. And that stat there, Beastmen were like top in April. They're top again in August. Maybe they're just very good in months beginning with A. So that's your win percentage over time. The rank percentile, so essentially I've inverted this, so 100% means first and 1% would mean last, and 50% would mean halfway up. So this is essentially where you are at the end of a tournament in terms of like, so if there were pardon me, if there were like 10 players and you finished fifth, you get 50% basically because you're halfway up. I know previously I said 11 and 6th, but that was actually wrong. I didn't understand how Excel worked this out. So anyway, so it's a box and whiskers again. So the box is essentially the average, and the whiskers are the normal range. So Tomb Kings, you should expect to be sort of, you know, top not top 10% isn't normal, but it's creeping up and it's getting there. You should be aiming for the top half of the table, whereas those where we're possibly bottom half of the table, we're kind of Ogre Kingdoms downwards. It's pretty normal for them to inhabit there, and it's getting normal for Skaven to finish last. So they're in a bit of a pickle at the moment. But like I said, Dwarves have just had their Arcane Journal out, and they don't seem to have improved. In terms of results, in terms of the overall stats, they've not turned the dial yet. However, we have seen some pretty decent results coming out of tournaments. We have seen them start to win things. So maybe they'll come good. And then if we look at the extremes, this is the all or nothing chart. Essentially what we've got is essentially 0 wins and 100% wins at tournaments. 1 in 10 Khemri players essentially ends up with winning all of their games, whereas winning none of their games is about 1 in 10 again. So we've looked at like what the normal where the data bunches up. Excuse me. So I've got a frog in my throat. And this looks at the extremes of the data. We've also got excuse me. So roughly 1 in 3 Skaven players has lost all their games, which is pretty bad. Roughly 1 in 5 Lizardmen players have lost all their games at tournaments. Same holds for Empire. Dwarves are better at not losing everything, but they're still pretty high in terms of losing all the games. Same as Ogres, Dark Elves, Demons. Of essentially people turning up to tournaments and not managing to win a single game with these factions. Winning all your games is significantly harder than losing all your games, however. And really, Bretonnia, Vampire Counts, Beastmen are sort of leading the way in terms of winning everything. Tomb Kings are reliable. Now, my experience of playing with Tomb Kings was that they're incredibly forgiving. So you can make mistakes, and the army will allow you to do that. So they're very, very forgiving as a faction. Anyway, so we've looked at the player scores. We've looked at some stats. Let's go have a look at what am I looking for? Best case pairings. That's what I'm looking This is where you can find all the data. You have to subscribe in order to look at lists, basically, but it's not that much. And it's a pretty good resource, to be honest. Oh yeah, there was this Square-based online tournament that I haven't covered or looked at. Pardon me. Oh God, just got this little bit of, do you know what I mean? Where it's just like stuck, where you just can't get it. Very annoying. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I put online only. Idiot. Any location. That's better. So, I mean, this is basically how I'd select events. Look, this one's got 2 players, so it doesn't meet my criteria. That one might do. That one might do because it's got 10. That one's not 10. That one's only got 4 players, so no. That one's got 5, 8, 3, 8, 8, 4, 6, 18. That one might. Now, it doesn't because it's doubles, and doubles, you can't use doubles for stats. That's the one I went to, that had 26. Cry Havoc, first event in, or maybe the second event in Scotland, actually. This one, maybe. It's not got the number of players here. This one, probably. In fact, definitely it's a 6-round tournament that took place in Canada. Canada seems to have done a couple of 6 rounds. There's a Texas, a GT there. That one only had 4 players. That one only had 6. That doesn't say 4 players. That says event started. There we go. Double the chaos, triple the fun. So then we go through the events, and essentially what I tend to do is just look at the list, because that oh, for goodness sakes. Because that often tells me, like, so it's 2,000 points. So this one's 2,000 points. So this one, you know, we would have, I would have got the data from here. So that's a doubles tournament. That's definitely a 2K tournament. That one's in. That one's almost certainly in. Even if it's a 1,500, there's enough players there that makes sense. 1,750. It's interesting. Phil Carl won this with Toon Kings. Toon Kings. You know, Toon Kings, I think done properly, are very, very effective. And then we've got this other 5-game tournament in Texas. So there's 6-game, there's a 5-gamer, and then this one. So this is what happens with sometimes. You click on it and this comes up. So placings are being hidden, so you just can't look at them. So I can't get the data. And this one, Double the Chaos, was actually a doubles tournament. So you know, can't pardon me, really use the data from that. However, let's have a look at some lists. So if you wanted the TLDR version, you probably should have stopped when I started choking myself. Right. So well done to Alice, Robin and Dan for filling out the podium. Alice came in 3rd with this Warriors of Chaos list. She's got 2 level 4 sorcerers, both Tzeentch, both spells familiar, both Chaos Steed, one with an Infernal Puppet, and a Chaos Lord on a Manticore with a Dragon Slaying Sword, Paymaster's Coin, which allows you to reroll hits for 1 round of combat, and a Favour of the Gods, which is very useful, and a Mark of Nurgle for a bit of defensive stuff there. Then she's gone for 4 Knights of Khorne, very sensible. 5 Marauder, because they act as like a little bullet, because that's like 9 strength 6 lance attacks, so that's pretty good. It does punch holes through an enemy, and with 4 it's not that very big. And also with Khorne, you only really need the champion to survive, and then the champion can run around and like hunt war machines and stuff like that. So that's that job really. You got 5 Marauder Horse, which have Mark of Tzeentch, presumably because that makes them. Has he got any other? Is he going to put both the wizards with that unit? He might do, mightn't he? Ooh, both got battle magic. Ooh, yeah. That looks like he's after some vortices, isn't he? It's not vortexes, it's vortices. Come on, guys, English. So he's got some vortices. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. And then he's got some Forsaken of Slaanesh, which gives him Swift Stride, which is great. He's got 6 Chaos Marauders, just with Mark of Corn and Skirmishers and Flails, and I don't really know what they're for, particularly. And then he's got some Warhounds. The Warhounds will probably go in front of the Knights to stop them from having to charge anything. He's got 5 Chosen Knights with a War Banner and a Mark of Slaanesh. Not sure why Mark of Slaanesh. Slaanesh, Mark of Slaanesh gives you +1 initiative in the first round of combat, which I guess can be useful. And then a couple of units of 2 Dragon Ogres, so they're very good. This is a very good list. I like this list. It's interesting to see what he's done with the characters. Actually, I think it's quite interesting. So yeah, I wonder if it, because actually 2 Mark of Tzeentch, so he's got 2 of the Tzeentch spell, which is 18 inches, D6 +3 strength. I want to say 5 AP2 hits. It's pretty nasty. It might be strength 4 AP2, but anyway, it's a very nasty spell. Does loads of damage. So 2 of them plus 2 vortices plus probably 2 fireballs as well. So that's like 4d6 strength 4 hits as well. Like that's a ton of output from 500 or 600 points, and also putting both of them in this unit of wherever it was, Horseman of Tzeentch. So essentially, if you're in a unit strength 9 unit or more, then you get a +1 to cast. So they've got an Infernal Puppet. I think that's a +1 to cast as well. So a really super reliable. Oh no, that's Skull of Catan, isn't it? I think that gives you the extra to cast. Infernal Puppet means your opponent's got to roll an extra d6 to cast, and then they have to discard the highest. So maybe this one goes with the unit, and this one goes to try and like dispel the enemy spells, and this one's like a bit of a caster. Yeah, interesting, very interesting list. Robin Hessel came second. Oh, I think he came second, didn't he? Yeah, and Dan won it with Empire. So, like I said, Empire aren't rubbish. It's just people haven't got these things: cannons and demigriffs and steam tanks. So this is all the cool stuff. So that all works. He's got some Empire archers to come up the battlefield. He's got some state troops to, don't know what their job is really, but sort of just get in the way a bit, I bet. And he's got a Wizard Lord, which has Elementalism, Law Familiar. So that means he can choose his spells. Maybe he's going for Plague of Rust then. That's or the you can't charges. Or is that's illusion, isn't it? Is in the you're not allowed to charge me spell. That's an illusion, isn't it? So I don't know what he's going for here. And he's got a general and a griffin. Okay. I guess, as something to tie up the opponent's dragon for a bit. And then the winner, Dan Olsen with did he have Empire as well? He did have Empire as well. Well, double Empire. That's exciting. Griffin. Is this this? It looks like it's pretty much the same. Oh, he's got some knights in there. Demigriff cannon. Yeah, all this is the cool stuff that does actually. That's quite effective. This stuff less so. Yeah, it's a fairly solid list. It'd be interesting to see how they actually won games. Because he ended up playing his hardest game would have been this one. It should have been this one, the third one. Dwarfen Mountain holds Royal Clan. No, he'd have smoked that one. Yeah, just keep cannoning it, and eventually everything will die before it can get to you. Yes. Right, so but well done, Dan and Robin. Right, Ginger Odin Warhammer, the Old World Tournament, August 2024, which took place here, Deverell Road. Oh, near Milton Harris Racing, which is exciting. Oh, I've seen this before, haven't we? It's some, I reckon it's somewhere in here. This looks like a set of old farm buildings that have been converted to like a business estate. There's quite a lot of these in England. I don't know about everywhere else in the country, but yeah, like you end up with an old farm. The farmer retires basically, and what happens is they sort out the farmhouse and sell it off as like a nice place to live, and then they set up like a business park. So normally they'd sell the farmhouse and then use the proceeds of the sale of the farmhouse to convert all the sheds into like a business park, and then end up renting all these out. Good retirement plan if you're into farming. Anyway, that's that's a bit boring. Business 101 with Dan. Right. Anyway, Adam West. There's an obvious joke there, and I'm not going to do it because I'm sure he's probably very annoyed at having to hear it all the time. But anyway, Adam came in third with Dark Elves, which is a remarkable achievement because they're not doing very well at the moment. Then an Orc and Goblins, then Beastmen, Alex Bundock and Luke Humphreys. So Adam came third with this Dark Elf list. He had a Dreadlord on a dragon. He had a Supreme Sorceress on foot. He had a Master who was a Battle Standard Bearer on foot. Shield of Grond and Pendant of Caleth are horrendous. The Pendant of Caleth is a 5 at ward normally, or a 4 at ward against strength 5 weapons. You combine this with the toughness 6 of the Black Dragon, means that things wounding you on 6 up, which, you know, is quite difficult. And then also, he's gone for the Shield of Grond, which is -1 to your wound rolls or strength or something defensive, in, I think, just combat only, so he can still be cannoned off, but, you know, again, it makes him quite difficult to deal with. And then we've got this Supreme Sorceress who has a Lore Familiar, so she can pick what she wants. And a Talisman of Protection here on the Supreme Sorceress. That might be a waste of points, but, you know, is reasonably sensible. Sorry, my son is really annoying me because he keeps running up and down the bloody house. Anyway, just repetitive thudding. Anyway, what is he doing? And now he's going out the front door. Anyway, Dark Elf Warriors with the Cold-Blooded Banner. That means, I think that one's like once per game you get to roll an extra d6 for your leadership checks. What are you doing? Stop running up and down. Thank you. And then he's got a couple of units of Dark Riders. They're really good. Light Cavalry, and their core choice. So, you know, they're I quite like them. They've got decent-ish armor and high speed, and most importantly, and this is why they're better than Illyrian Reavers, they've got repeater crossbows that can actually do something. Then he's got some Blackguards. So a Blackguard, that's a concatenation of, and he's just running up and down again. He's got which is a concatenation of the two words black and guard, so that's where the word blackguard comes from. I can't remember why. I think it's something to do with something nautical, but he's got some Cold War Knights. People are a bit down on them because of the stupidity, but they're like Leadership 9, so. You know, the problem that you'll find with stupid units is they always seem to fail their stupidity test exactly when you need them not to. Obviously, that didn't happen for Adam, though, because he did quite well. Then Luke came second with Stig's Trolls. So we've got a Troll Hag. Ugh, hate that model. Just disgusting. You know, in a wonderful way. Then we've got a Weird Boy, a War Boss, another Weird Boy. So two sort of lower level wizards rather than the high level wizard. We've got two Troll Mobs, a River and a Stone Troll Mob. Again, that's pretty sensible to take a bit of a mix because they both have different strengths. River Trolls have more wounds, Stone Trolls have more armor. So you know, if you've got something with, if you've got an enemy unit with a high degree with a high AP weapon, stick the River Trolls in because you know the armor doesn't really matter because they whether they get hit with an AP1 or an AP3 weapon, it doesn't matter. They've still got no save. But Stone Trolls are better against stuff with low AP. All with great weapons, of course, because they've got no initiative anyway, so you might as well give them great weapons. It's got a big Orc mob with Das Spider Banner, which gives them poisoned attacks. And he's gone for Savage Orcs, so these have War Paint and Frenzy, so they get so they're basically He's gone for thrusting spears. That's interesting, isn't it? Because you ideally don't really want to be charging with thrusting spears. But anyway, and so frenzy means you have to, but whatever. Then we've got a ball boy mob. They're very, very good. They're some of the best cavalry in the game. To be honest, for the price, they're so cheap for what they do. And then he's gone for more stone trolls. And an orc boar chariot. Don't know what the rules are on the rule of 3 here, but he's got 4 troll mobs. So I'm presuming that's within the rules, but 4 troll mobs is pretty nice. And then Alex managed to win it with Beastman Brave Herds. I'm presuming he's got exactly the same list as every other Beastman player. Pretty much. So we've got the... Oh, no, actually, he hasn't, has he? He's got a Doom Ball with an Ogre Blade, Talisman of Protection, Slug Skin. So that's going to slap really hard with the Ogre Blade. You got a Great Bray Shaman with a Hag Tree Fetish and a Flying Carpet. Typically, you see them going in chariots, but Flying Carpet will do. Then he's got another Bray Shaman with a Ruby Ring of Ruin. That's interesting. On foot. He's got a... So he hasn't got... This is really interesting. Because typically you see like a Beastman BSB with like the a banner, and they have the -1 to hit stuff. But anyway, that Doom Ball probably goes in this big Gore herd, and then he's got a load of stuff to like gum at the table. He's gone for Gorgon and a Jabber Slide and a load of... Harpies are really good because basically what you do is you sit them behind a unit that you're just about to beat in combat, so then they get pushed back, and the entire unit has to essentially take tests to see if they get killed when they run through another unit. Pretty nasty. So yeah, this is a strong list, and it's got the counterpunch units, so that essentially when he takes the charge with all these Gore units and all the rest, and possibly the Gorgon and possibly the Dragon Ogres as well, he's then got some really hard hitting units, well, to deliver that counterpunch. That's why Beastmen are so good, because Swift Stride is definitely the mechanic that's the most powerful in the old world. However, some factions don't have it very much, and so they have to have things that kind of neuter it or sort of tone it down, and Beastmen have that kind of, we're going to take that Swift Stride, we're going to take that hit, and then we're going to smack you back. And that's their kind of strategy. So anyway, well done to those 3. Battlefield 2276. I did a review of my performance and my games in another video, so I'm not going to go through my list. Yeah, one thing I did want to have a look at is Andy Lamb, because his were absolutely beautifully painted. Did he actually have a terrible list? Yes, that's too much Grail Knights. They're going to hit hard, and then they're just going to get slowly whomped. Yeah, that's too many points there. He needs a level 4. Yeah. That's okay. Beautifully painted though. So anyway, Callum wins. Well done, Callum. Adrian Rizocki came second, and Michael Appleton came third. Michael Appleton has Beastman as well. He's got 2 level 4s in chariots, if I remember rightly. He's got a Gore Ball. So these 2 basically go in this Gore unit, and everything else kind of swirls around it and slaps back really hard. So you've essentially got like 300, and it's not that expensive though, because it's like 3-4, it's not even 500 points really in a unit that just hits so hard, because the Gore Ball and the War Gore and all the combat res and all the rest. So even if you do hit into that, you're going to be you know, it's going to be really difficult, really difficult to do anything about it. And then he's got the harpies for that little trick as well, and then he's got some dragon ogres to essentially be flank pieces, and he's got loads of razor gores and tusk gores, and yeah, he was using these as he used instead of razor gores, he had the funny bug things from Necromunda, you know, the kind of the little cricket sort of things from the wastes, ash nomad sort of thing. Anyway, yeah, really good list. Not surprised it did well. Adrian Vizocki came second with Warriors of Chaos. Good lad. Chaos Lord, Dragon, blah, blah, blah. There was an additional limit of 550 points on a character in this tournament, and there was also a limit of 3 for Wailing Dirges. So that's pretty good. So yeah, he's gone for the Crown of Everlasting Conquest and a dragon. And I think that's about all he can afford and get the Mark of Nurgle. So he's got a 5-up regen now. He's got the 5-up ward in built. He's got full plate shield. So he's got a 3-up normal armor save. Then we've got a Sorcerer Lord, level 4, Mark of Nurgle. You don't typically see that, but he's on a Chaos Steed. The Nurgle special spell is remains in play +1 toughness, which is really good. And it's something that I've considered quite a lot in terms of putting a Sorcerer Lord like this in a unit of knights and just using that to absolutely dominate one flank. Use a Chaos Lord and a dragon to dominate the other flank. And essentially have a centre of stuff that just gradually collapses. Whilst the 2 flanks just kind of murder the rest of my opponent's army. Then he's got some Dragon Ogres and a Shaggoth and a Chimera, which is a bit weird. And then he's got a load of other stuff that kind of fits in the middle of the table. Knights of Nurgle, Warhounds. Oh, this army was quite nicely painted as well, if I remember rightly. And he's got some Marauder Horse with Slanesh, Javelins and Flails, so he's gone quite expensive on them. But they are pretty good, actually, Marauder Horse. I quite like them. And then Top Callum with his Lizardmen list. So he's got a Slan. There's a debate as to whether they're any good. The problem with them being that they are large targets, so you can see them from everywhere. Which means you have to take some Temple Guard and stick the Temple Guard near the Slan to keep it alive. And the Temple Guard are pretty good. Yeah, they are pretty good, to be fair. So they're definitely an upgrade on Saurus Warriors, despite not costing that much more. Then we've got an Old Blood on a Carnosaur with a Cav Spear, Scar Veteran. So he's got 2 T-Rexes, basically. He's got some Saurus Warriors. He's got some Skink Skirmish, which is quite a big unit. He's got some Croxigores that can basically hang out with these guys until they're ready to charge, and then they can charge through the Skinks. Because Croxigores are like that. And he's got an Ancient Stegatron with the Engine of the Gods, which is just a magic missile. You need 2 for the +1 to cast. But anyway, yeah. He's pretty low. It's interesting, really, because I quite like Bastiladons, but he hasn't taken any. But I guess, like, 4 wounds and toughness 6, and only got a 3-up armor save. They're actually pretty easy to kill, because they've got no ward or anything. Bastiladons, this is. So, yeah. Maybe that's the strat. Double Carnosaur. And his last game was up against Rob with Dark Elves. He's got some Corsairs that I think are okay, but other people think are rubbish. Repeater Crossbowmen are pretty decent for like core light infantry. Again, like I said, Fire and Flee and Scouts and Repeater Crossbows means that they can actually do something. Cold War Knights, Charybdis are really good, but you need more than 1 because people will just target it. I think the strat for Dark Elves, rather than being double dragon, is like a monster thing. So like a Beastmaster on a Manticore, and then a Supreme Sorceress on a dragon, and 3 Charybdis. I think that's a pretty decent list, but anyway, that's just me theory crafting. And then me, I should have got 3rd, but I cocked up quite a bit in my games and didn't get enough points. But anyway, enough about me. So well done, Callum, and the other 2 on the podium that I've literally just read out their names and forgotten. Charles. So this one, Cry Havoc, was quite interesting because there's no list submitted, which suggests that they weren't checked. Drilled 2K Knights is the name of his list, and he has 1 unit of knights. Don't know what that means. Oh God, sorry, I'm really stiff from yesterday. But anyway, well done to Grieg, to Chris and Charles for taking out the podium here. This was in Scotland, so that was somewhere here. This is what Scotland looks like pretty typically. Lots of stone. There's an aesthetics clinic. It probably wasn't there. Although you never know. Funeral directors probably wasn't there. There's well, it was somewhere here. Maybe it was in there. Nethertown Broad Street. Hair, nails and beauty. Could have been in there, couldn't it? I mean, Google is saying it's in that house, which, I mean, okay. Anyway, Cry Havoc and Let's Slip the Dogs of War. I am a bloody... Why does it keep doing this? It's logged me out, hasn't it? Stupid thing. Yes, anyway, well done to those 3, but no list, so I can't look at them. And then we have the battle for Barakvar, which was... I don't know why I did that voice. Here. That looks like that, doesn't it? Secret Cake Cafe. Sounds excellent. Chill out space, tournament hall, free use games library, weekly gaming events, LGBTQ plus friendly, family friendly, great coffee, delicious food. That's quite big, isn't it? Where is that? Sheffield. Interesting. Right, I should have to go to one of those. In fact, I was 50-50 between going to this one and the other one. It's just this one's a 1750, so I'd rather play at 2K, to be honest. Anyway, there's enough players that it matters. Anyway, Jay Wilkinson. I mean, there's not much point going through the list because the 1750s, but so the battle for Barak Var was won by Warwick with Vampire Counts. Joe came 3rd with Chaos Dwarves and Matt Baker with Tomb Kings. Some of those names ring a bell. Right, but well done to those 3 chaps. So Joe had a Sorcerer of Profit and a Iron Demon and a Dreadquake Mortar. These 3 things will win you loads of games. The rest of it doesn't really... Well, probably a Hobgoblin Khan and some Hobgoblin Wolf Riders to be the best light cavalry in the game. The Dreadquake Mortar, it doesn't really do that much damage, but what it does do is everything within 2d6 loses Swift Stride. So you can reasonably fire that at a block of cavalry that's got themselves within range so that they can charge with Swift Stride. Just hit them with the mortar. Then they can't use Swift Stride, so they can't charge, basically. So your opponent has to come within like proper charge range, which means you're now in charge range. More importantly, you're also in blunderbuss range, and the hail shot blunderbuss on the Infernal Guard is absolutely horrible. to because stand and shoot, it's just like it's so many shots, all with decentish AP. I think they're strength 3 AP 1, aren't they, or something like that? But yeah, very very good. And this thing on like a Bale Taurus with a Mantle of Stones, that makes it toughness 7. It's got the WarhamMeta, so it's got a 3-up save because of. It's not the rule isn't here, but basically Sorcerer Prophets can wear any type of armor and still cast spells. So you've got a 3-up armor save, you've got a 5-up ward save, you've got a toughness 7 Bale Taurus, which does a decent amount of damage itself, and then you've got Chaos Dwarves have these things called Dark Forged weapons, which cost 10 points, and they're an absolute steal because it's a random effect. You roll at the start of the game. 5 of them are very good. 1 of them, meh. But in any case, it's still a magic weapon. So you still get magical attacks for just 10 points. So it's definitely worth taking if you're not going to go for a big thing like the Ogre Blade or whatever. But yeah, really, really strong. And he's hit all the right notes with Chaos Dwarves, even at 1750. Tomb Kings, we've got High Priest level 4, Mortuary Priest level 2. Has he gone for Mortuary Cults? He has indeed. So that's going to be it is the BSB. He's got 80 Shabti with Great Bows. That's disgusting at this level of points. Hopefully, well, he was able to wield them better than I was because I did absolutely nothing with my 6 Bow Shabti. He's got some Tomb Swarms, which are interesting. He's got some Skirmishers to sort of get in the way a bit. He's got a couple of Scorpions, which have better ambushes rules, basically. 2 Necrosphinx and a Casket. Casket, I really missed one from my tournament, from my games. I think they're really, really good, actually, because you don't move your army anyway, and you wait for your opponent to come to you, so... but then again, I never played against like an Empire gunline or anything, so I probably might have moved a bit then. Warwick Hunt came second, did he? No, Warwick Hunt won it. Matt Baker. Oh yeah, Warwick Hunt. Congrats, Warwick Hunt, for winning the Howling River Raiders. If you think, I don't know what that is reference to. Anyway, Master Necromancer level 4 Morse Engine. Yawn. Sorry, Warwick. but massive yawn. Level 2 Morse Engine, Tomb Banshee, Terrorgeist. Yeah. So he's got 4 Wailing Dirges. He's got some Direwall, Zomble. Oh my god. Oh, that's hot. And what? Oh, it's just loads of Direwalls and zombies. Oh no. Just so that everything can Wailing Dirge at stuff that's in combat. So it's just his job here is to get into combat, drop a load of spells that drop their leadership, and then just Wailing Dirge at them until they're dead. This is like negative play experience times 1000. Really, really good list. Very smart. Well done, Warwick, for putting it together. Well done for actually using it, because it's all very well and good designing a list in theory, but then you've got to wield it on the tabletop. So well done for doing that. But I really don't like playing against this type of thing, and nobody does. But Warwick has gone to a tournament to win it, and he has done so. So well done. Anyway, this is the 6. We'll do that one. We'll save the Canadians for last. Texas Open, which took place Texas Championship Circuit. It was a multiple event with lots of stuff. So this ought to be absolutely massive. Yes. Yes, it's in one of these exposition centre type things. Probably not in there. I don't know, actually. Don't know which one it would be in. There's the exposition centre. Is it? It probably was in there. Absolutely huge building. Everything in America is massive, especially in Texas. Just everything is just huge. It's like they're trying to convince us we're all hobbits. Right. Anyway, shut up, Dan. Get on with it. So, overtime has elapsed. Or 15, 16. Why can't people just press done? Right, anyway. Richard Fesenbeck, well done for coming in third. David Lewis with Demons coming second. That's really interesting. There's a Chaos Dwarf list that didn't do very well. So I'm going to have a look at Luke. Not to, any... No, he's got Dark... Yeah. You want +1 toughness on that. He's got the blunderbusses. He's got some Fireclays, which are Iron Sworn, Iron Demon, and the Mortar. Probably, there's not a lot there, is there? These are possibly a waste of points. I don't like the Iron Sworn, to be honest. I think there's much better stuff that you can get in your special allocation for Chaos Dwarves. They're not quick enough, really. They're easy to avoid. Kingdom of Britannia. So this, sorry, was that one the one that won? It was Richard, David, Dimitri. So Richard first in third place. Well done. He's going for a Soul Weaver Coven, whatever that is. Level 4 Necro with Cloak of Mist and Shadow. Level 2 Necro, Tomb Badge. Vampire Count on a Zombie Dragon, a White Lord. Because he's presumably, he's got some Graveguard in core. He's got a couple of modest blocks of Skellies. He's got a little bit of Direwolves. He's got some Black Knights and some Graveguard, and that's more Graveguard, and that's it. That doesn't feel like 2,000 points, really, does it? But he spent 1,000 points on characters. I guess he's got a Vampire Counter and a Zombie Dragon, and then he's not got a lot of speed, has he, really? I suppose the Black Knights are quite quick. This is a really interesting list. I'd love to know how that kind of worked out, really. Presumably, he's just got his 4 blocks around the Necromancers, who are going to be resurrecting, and then maybe Black Knights, Direwolves one flank, and Vampire Count on the other. And Beguile's quite interesting as well, especially when you come up against... Because, like, for instance, if you chuck that into, like, a Terrorgeist, for instance, which has, like, Leadership 4 or something. So the Terrorgeist is going to fail its leadership check, and it's going to be hitting on 6s, which is, pretty good. So, that's quite clever. For that is for killing other monsters, especially unridden monsters. But even like ridden monsters, occasionally they can fail their leadership check, and so even like a high elf on dragon with like leadership 10, failing that, hitting on 6s with everything, that's pretty big. So yeah, decent list. Well done, Richard. Richard's podiumed a bit before, so he knows what he's doing. David with demons. We've got Nurgle, Unclean One. Trappings of Nurgle gives it a 4-up armor save, so it's got a 4-up armor save, 5-up ward, 5-up regen, so it's pretty survivable. It's got like 3 million wounds. It hasn't. It's got like 8 or 9. And the Plague Flail is pretty nasty. Level 4 dark magic to boost itself up and maybe give something a bit of to give units frenzy and hatred. He's got Demon Prince of Khorne, which has Fly 9. I don't like Demon Princes in Demons because they lose their ward save against magical attacks, whereas they don't in Warriors of Chaos. He's got a couple of units of... though the Demon Prince is the general. Yeah, so the general makes the unit core. So that's why he's done the Demon Prince, I think, because he wanted a Great Unclean One, and then he wanted a load of Bloodletters. He's got some Seekers, because they're quick. Plague Drones are brilliant. And he's got a Soul Grinder. So, pretty interesting list with a mix of lots of stuff in there. Yeah. Just trying to think how it works on the tabletop, really. Maybe alternating. So you got like the 2 Soul Grinders, and then Bloodletters, and then Drones, and then Seekers. So you got like 3 waves of stuff. And then he's got Kingdom. Then Dimitri took it out. Well done to Dimitri. It's no mean feat winning. Did win 5 games, so well done. The only player to win 5 games. That's not actually massively common in the old world. So Dimitri managed that. He's got a Duke on a Hippogriff with Grommel Greathelm, Gauntlet of the Duel. Gauntlet of the Duel, you see this quite This is coming up quite a lot. So the Gauntlet of the Duel is you can't refuse challenges issued by the Duke, and also he gets to reroll hits in the I think Virtue of Heroism is pretty good. That one's Killing Blow Monster Slayer. And then we've got a Paladin who's a BSB presumably because it's free, and he's giving it the War Banner, so that's essentially going to add +2 to any combat that it's in. Then we've got a level 4 Prophetess with a Falcon Horn of Fredemund. There's the boy. That's the one that everybody needs. It's great. It's one of the best items in the game. It turns off your opponent's ability to use the fly keyword on models, which, especially against the dead, is pretty useful because undead take fly stuff because the undead can't march, unless you have the fly keyword, in which case you can. So undead typically like taking flying things because it means they're very manoeuvrable, especially given all the reserve move shenanigans that they've got. Means that you can get something with like Fly 9 to move 36 inches across the table, which is pretty good, especially when that thing is a dragon. So turning off flying is amazing. Then you've got Knights Errant, you've got some Mounted Knights of the Realm, Peasant Bowmen, pretty standard core selections really. Only 3 picks. He's gone for some questing knights, which I think are rubbish, so I'll be interested to find out how they got on really. After action, does he think that another unit of 3 Pegasus Knights would have been better than those 8 questing Knights? That would be an interesting question. It's got 6 Grail Knights, which is quite a big unit of Grail Knights, but not too big, I don't think. So yeah, pretty decent list. I'm not surprised it won. It's all pretty balanced, to be fair. And then we've got CCBB. So Jason Sparks from Team Canhammer came third, Nicholas Challoner and Phil Carl. These names are all very familiar, and one of them I didn't open a list for some reason. So Jason came third with Empire. He's got an engineer, obviously, and a wizard lord. Very cheap on characters. We've got Knights. We've got some Demigriff Knights. Yeah, this is good. This is all the cool stuff. This stuff's really effective. And loads of Knights. Wow. So that list does one job very well, doesn't it? And actually, with all the cannons and the steam tank, because the steam tank can basically just look after the cannons and just get in the way, whilst these knights sort of romp around the table and try and kill a load of stuff. So yeah. Sorry, I got kicked in the head last night. We were doing like rocking practice, and I'm a bit drowsy today. But we were doing rocking practice, and somebody came and just booted me in the face. I'm surprised I've not got a big lump, but yeah. Anyway, Phil Carr won, so we'll do him last. Nicholas Challoner with Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings came second and first in this one. Interesting. How many players was it? It wasn't, so 32, so it's a decent size event for like 6 people. And it took place, it took place there. That looks like quite a nice little conferencey sort of centre, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. That looks like that's a delivery yard. That is definitely a distribution centre. Interesting. Let's go here. Oh, there's something being built there. This is... What the hell is it? EY Centre. It's a convention centre, but that's... Why have they got all the delivery spots? What the frick are these? Oh, that's all the air conditioning... Sorry, this is on the roof, isn't it? Yeah. So that's all the air conditioning units. Very weird. Very, very weird. And there's something that was being built there. Anyway, you don't care about that. I do, because I like $175. Wow. Actually, I don't know how much that is in UK. Anyway, so Phil won. Nicholas, he's got a level 4. Oh, he's gone for the priest. He's gone for mortuary cults. Has Phil? No. So we got mortuary cults. Got level 4, and a double dragon. He's got a BSB mortuary priest as well. He's got 8 bow shabti. He's got some necro serpents, which I think are rubbish. He's got some tomb swarms, which I think are pretty good. And he's got some scorpions and a couple of caskets, double caskets. So that's a very strong list. I'm not surprised it did well. Well done, Nick. Great list. And then Phil's gone for the Team King. He's gone for Potion of Toughness and the Talisman of Protection. Yeah, I think if I was going to amend my list and enter it again, I'd definitely give the Team King a magic weapon. Especially with that game where the Green Knight was there, because actually with hindsight, had not Alex but Jack put his Green Knight into my Necrolith Dragon straight away, then I probably would have lost the dragon halfway through the game and it would have done absolutely nothing else. So it needs a magic weapon just so it can like deal with that. So Biting Blade probably. Which in my head I didn't really consider as like being that beneficial, because I thought the Kopesh is like AP1 anyway, so that's pretty good. But then in my head as well, like I normally, well, Warriors of Chaos are like my home faction as it were, and they're magical attacks and AP1, so I didn't quite value the magical attack keyword as much. He's got 3 Sepulchral Stalkers, which I don't think are any good. Phil, I know he watches occasionally, so if you could answer that question, are they any good? He's got a little unit of archers to sort of get in the way a bit. He's got a big unit of chariots with Icon of the Sacred Eye, which I'm not sure what that does. Can't remember what that does. Is it one of the ones out of the? I think it's one of the ones out of the. Oh no, it's not. It must be out of the actual rule book. Bear with, dear listener. So we've got magic items, Icon of the Sacred Eye, +1 weapon skill. Okay, fine. So these have got +1 weapon skill, and that would make them actually pretty decent. And he's got a couple of Tomb Scorpions and a couple of Necrosphinx, which are really good. No War Shrine. But he's gone for mobility more than that, really. 'Cause he's got double dragon. You know, High Priest on a dragon, Tomb King on a dragon. He's got two Tomb Scorpions. He's got a couple of Necrosphinx. He's got this is like maximum like flexibility, really. Apart from the archers, I'm not really sure what they're there for, but there's not a lot of resurrecting going on with this. High Priest is giving it the serpents. That's quite clever as well, actually. So the dragon gets poisoned attacks as well. And the potion of speed, warding flint, can choose its own spells. It's gone for illusion. So essentially trying to guarantee that he's getting the charge off. This is a smart list, actually. There's a lot going on under the surface with this. Apart from, I'm not sure about the potion of toughness, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, very good list. What do I know? Phil won an event. I didn't. So well done, Phil. So that's it. I think that's that's all the stats from the last weekend, or the last couple of weekends. So I hope hope it's been useful, and hope it's helped you to think through a few of your army selections, what you're going to be putting in your armies. And let us know in the comments if you're going to a thing, or if you just want to say hi, or just have a bit of a chat, or whatever. And yeah, what else what do I normally? Oh, I normally say at this point, if you've liked the video, there's a button for that. That's my catchphrase. It seems as stupid and weird as that sounds. Where did that come from, Dan? Why are you being so cross with yourself today? because you feel absolutely broken and you're in a lot of pain. That's why. Yeah, I'm talking to myself again. I need to move my car actually. Sorry. Yeah, if you've liked the video, there's a button for that. If you've got this far through and you've listened to my inane ramblings for about an hour, you should probably subscribe because this is it really. There's very little polish. I haven't even combed my hair this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, I've answered all my comments. I do try. So put something in the comments if you want to have a chat. Anyway, toodaloo.